At about 4:22 p.m. on November 21st, a huge fire broke out in a garment factory in Anyang, Henan Province. The fire took 7 hours to extinguish, resulting in 38 deaths and 2 slightly injured. Just about an hour later, an explosion occurred at the Jiang Yang chemical plant in Taiyuan, Shanxi province, sending up a mushroom cloud of smoke. This is a military enterprise, and officials have not yet announced any casualties. The factory where the fire occurred is located in the town of Baoliansi in Wenfeng district of Anyang City, and belongs to Anyang City Kaixinda Trade Corporation. It is understood that the factory is mainly engaged in the production of knitted garments, and also do mechanical processing. The factory is a 2-story steel structure. The first floor is a warehouse, and the second is a production room. The factory was recently engaged in cotton clothes processing. According to villagers, most of the workers in the factory are women from nearby villages. The age of the 38 people killed in the accident ranged from their 30s to 70s. According to mainland media, the on-scene Respond Command Group analyzed that the fire was due to improper welding methods used by factory workers. According to Xinjing News, Liu Zhendong, director of the Emergency Management Bureau of Wenfeng District, who was involved in the search and rescue work at the scene, revealed that before the incident, someone was welding car parts in the warehouse. Whether this was the cause of the fire requires further investigation. The command department believes that during the welding process, cotton wool drifted through and caught fire, which in turn ignited a large amount of fabric piled up in the warehouse, and the smoke from the fire caused some of the workers on the second floor. Videos on the internet shows the fierce fire at the scene lighting up the night sky and billowing smoke. The accident resulted in 38 deaths and 2 minor injuries, and the other 89 employees managed to escape unharmed. It is rumored that the Public Security Department has taken in the suspects. The mega fire has sparked concerns, with netizens asking, was it intentional or are there safety hazards? Some people reported that the factory had serious firefighting violations and did not possess any firefighting capabilities. According to mainland media, this enterprise is engaged in wholesale production and has a wide variety. It can be seen from videos and pictures that the fire happened in a very large factory room. There's only a single exit on one side of the room every 100 meters or so, and any other exits were not even fully open at the time. This is probably why there were so many casualties. A netizen by the name of Lucky D said, "This is the factory of a big clothing brand in my hometown. Sometimes, in order to catch up with backlog of work, the factory will forbid workers from leaving at closing time and will lock the doors, really exploitative to the extreme. Employment opportunities are few back home. These poor women have to work at least 12 hours a day, with only 2 days off a month, to earn 2,000 to 3,000 yuan. Another person said that one of their relatives died in the accident. He was in his 60s and had been working in the factory for many years, only earning a monthly salary of a little more than 1,000 yuan. Some reporters wanted to interview the local villagers, but found that their phones could not be reached, and there was a suspected communication problem in the area. Some villagers' family members reported on the internet that the IP location of their cell phones did not show that they were in Anyang. The CCP's usual practice is to block information after an incident, so it's difficult for outsiders to know the actual situation. According to the information on Baidu, Anyang Kaixinda Trade Corporation is mainly engaged in the wholesale of hardware products, the sale of machinery and equipment, metal products, special chemical products, construction materials, firefighting equipment, furniture, clothing, and so on. From this, we can see that this private company has a very wide range of operations. The management of such rural enterprises is often very chaotic, and factories will produce a variety of products with warehouses and workshops all mixed together. This factory has a number of clothing and hardware equipment workshops. The fire and safety facilities are not sound, but since the owners often have complex relationships with officials, the local administration usually turn a blind eye to this issue. Many of the workers employed by the enterprises are villagers in the vicinity. Not only are their wages much lower than government standards, but they generally do not receive any relevant safety training before they start work, and the enterprises do not pay any social insurance for them. The labor environment and conditions in such factories are often very poor, and the basic safety of employees is not guaranteed. In the event of a safety accident, the compensation for family members is often very small. Due to the lack of safety training, the employees' safety awareness is weak, and various kinds of illegal operations are common. This is also the reason why employees would weld auto parts in a warehouse full of flammable items, such as fabric and cotton, which led to a fire. About an hour after the fire in Anyang, an explosion occurred at the Jiang Yang chemical plant in Taiyuan, Shanxi Province, which looked like an atomic bomb with a huge mushroom cloud rushing several hundred meters into the air. The chemical plant is the backbone military enterprise belonging to the China Armament Group Corporation, mainly producing explosives. At about 5:25 p.m. on November 21st, a sudden loud bang instantly shattered the windows and doors of a pharmacy near the Jiang Yang chemical plant, and even the ceiling fell down. The pharmacy staff said, "It's Jiang Yang explosion. Look, the ceilings all fell down. The glass also shattered. Everything exploded." After hearing a loud bang, people ran outside and saw a huge cloud of smoke rising above the Jiang Yang chemical plant, and more explosions rang out from time to time. Witnesses have said it's a really loud sound. Even glass 5 kilometers away were ringing. Another person said that his place is about half an hour's drive from the chemical plant, and even from that distance, he heard the loud explosion. The surrounding buildings were also severely damaged. The walls of nearby homes were cracked, windows shattered, and items were scattered all over the place. It has been almost 2 days since the accident, but the official response is only that the fire has been extinguished and the casualties are still unknown. According to public information, Jiang Yang chemical plant is a military enterprise established in 1954 and belongs to the Communist Party's Weapons Industry Group Corporation. It is said that 30 to 50% of China's ammunition and explosives are produced here. The factory has 1,300 professional and technical personnel. The focus of its operation is, firstly, a research and production base for explosives, focusing on missile combat and underwater weapons. Secondly, it is the largest production base in China for civilian-use blasting equipment. This is not the first time an explosion has occurred at the Jiang Yang chemical plant. On September 2nd last year, an explosion occurred at the plant and the authorities said a few employees were injured. However, it is worth noting that the cause of the explosion is still under investigation. In June 2005, a massive explosion occurred at the Jiang Yang chemical plant, affecting 8 towns, 27 villages, and 6 schools, resulting in 336 people injured. Most of those injured were located over 500 meters away when the explosion happened, and the real number of casualties at the explosion site is still unknown. Recently, many fires have broke out in China. On November 18th, a fire occurred at BYD's F6 plant in West Daya Bay, Guangdong Province, but fortunately no one was injured. A fire also broke out on the top floor of an unfinished building in Huizhou City, Guangdong Province, on November 15th. On October 29th at around 10 a.m., the largest shopping mall in Nanjing, the Jinsheng department store, suddenly burst into flames. The fire burned for almost 12 hours, and nearly 1,000 shops in the mall were reduced to ashes. It is worth mentioning that a large number of people are still queuing up for nucleic acid tests a few dozen meters away from the scene. General Secretary Xi Jinping often talks about the importance of putting people and their lives first in various speeches. However, in practice, the lives of the people are at the bottom and are often the least important thing for Communist Party officials and corporate bosses. In such a faithless country, the top officials are only concerned about the stability of the regime. The grassroots officials are concerned about their own positions, and the bosses are concerned about maximizing their profits. no one cares about the lives of ordinary people. Of course, in the event of an accident, the CCP will still make a few arrests in order to calm the public. But the lives lost will never come back, and their families can only endure the suffering.
呀，死一条命！你看，就俺俩人出来呀，都没出来，叫他回来，包完包咋了？叫他回来，最后包，最起码剩下4、5、6人。呀，咋到啊？你今天叫最后那个出来，我就是压力下的。
我靠，招过来了！我操，好帅啊！一会儿你们被扫了，还好帅了。